Hey, it's that Fire Morning Show with Ali Fire. We're here at Mo City Radio doing what we do best, coming in with the best information from the nation. We have a special guest this morning. We have State Rep Ryan Reynolds here, and he's going to tell us about what's going on with the district mapping and everything else that's kind of going on. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm great. It's great to be on. I'm excited. I think this is the first time actually in the studio. I've been interviewed by you a few times, but
Yes.
it's a delight to be in the studio live to talk about something that impacts millions of people across the state. And so I'm ready to get and dive right into it.
So, recently there was this situation, and I heard about it, but I didn't quite get it. I heard something about district mapping and how it affected us and our voting rights. And when I say us, I say African American people, people of color. And I want to know what's that about and why did it come about?
Well, so redistricting is the real legal name of it, and it happens typically in a normal situation after every census that we get every 10 years. Every 10 years, we get a census, meaning that we get from the United States, a survey of how many people are in your household. You send that information in, someone collects it. It's data to really count how many people are located within each state
Hmm.
so that there can be equal proportional representation for congressional representation as well as resources. So,
Break that down real quick.
okay, so our federal government, it allocates resources to different states based on the size of the state. For example, Texas would get more resources than Louisiana, our neighboring state, because Texas is much larger. So proportional representation means that Texas will have more representatives than Louisiana as well because there's more people.
Yeah.
Texas has like 33 million people in the state. Louisiana has far less, right? So based on that, you don't have equal number of Congress people in Louisiana than you do Texas,
I understand.
based on the census.
Hmm.
Even California, which is the largest state, based on the last census, they lost representation because they didn't grow as fast as Texas did. Texas actually was the fastest growing state in the country. And so, even though it's still not as large as California, it grew, and therefore we have more representation. Other states like New York and other states that lost population, they saw a decrease. So it basically makes sure everything is equals out. So there are 435 members of the United States House of Representatives, and they're equally divided based on population. So, for example, let's just say hypothetically, like this would never happen, but if everyone in the country moved from their state to Texas, then Texas would have 435 representatives.
All
That's
of
just a
them.
hypothetical to paint a picture. So it's all based on population. And then what you do, resources for transportation, for infrastructure like roads and bridges, for hospitals, to help fund uh, schools that get grants from the federal government. All of that is based on this data. And typically, like the last time we did redistricting was after the 2020 census when the legislature did it in 2021.
Mm.
We were not scheduled to do redistricting until 2031 after the 2030 census, right? Because that would have been the next 10 years after 2020. Well, this was a interesting scenario where President Trump said that he wanted Texas to do what we call a mid-decade redistricting, like a halfway point, like
5 years type.
5 years. We're in 5 years in. That typically never happens. He wanted it because right now in the House of Representatives, Republicans Republicans control the House by a three-seat majority. So it's very close in terms of, and when I say three seats, I mean that they have three more Republican members than Democrats based on uh, Democrats, Republicans. So based on that, there's a Republican Speaker of the House.
Mm-hmm.
The House and the Senate, if President Trump wants something done, it has to pass the House and the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans control the White House, the House, and the Senate. So President Trump wants to, like, for example, one of the most recent controversial bills was he called the Big Beautiful Bill. It passed by one vote in the House of Representatives. So, in order for President Trump to maintain power, typically the House, the party where the president in, whether it's Democrat, Republican, during the midterms, they typically lose seats.
Mm-hmm.
So President Trump, anticipating that he may lose seats, he wanted to do a mid-decade redistricting starting with Texas, and he told Governor Abbott he wants 5 seats. He said 5, right? Because they could draw a map with 5 more additional Republican-leaning seats. That's what they did. They told Governor Abbott, and Governor Abbott called a special session for us to come back as the legislature, and we drew, which not we, but the Republicans drew 5 additional Republican seats. Those 5 Republican seats were drawn to basically what we call disproportionately impact Black and brown districts by what we call cracking and packing. In other words, Houston has 2 African American majority districts. That is the 9th congressional district that Congressman Al Green currently represents,
Mm-hmm.
and the 18th congressional district, which was previously represented by Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee
Who
and
passed away?
Congressman Sylvester Turner, who passed away. That seat is vacant right now with a special election in November because of the death of those 2 members of Congress. But those are 2 African American seats. Based on this new redistricting map, Congressman Al Green's 9th congressional district is Republican in its rule. He has now moved into the 18th congressional district, and so they merged those 2 into one. So now you have one African American opportunity district in Houston. They did the same thing in Dallas, where they had 2. They had Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and Congressman Mark Vesey, both African American. Now they moved Congresswoman Crockett out of her district, merged her and Mark Vesey into one, like they did in Houston. So there's one African American opportunity congressional district in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So we reduced our African American opportunity districts by 50% based on this new map. And so there are many, including myself, who believe that based on the way that they drew these maps, it's in violation of the Voting Rights Act because it basically disproportionately racially gerrymandered Black and Hispanic seats to basically create these new seats. So it is we as a members of the House Democrats, we broke quorum. We denied the legislature enough members to bring the bill up during the first special session. You may have saw we went to Illinois, Chicago.
And what does that do?
That prevented them from passing it initially. In order for a bill to be heard, you have to have 2/3 of the House present. There are 150 members of the House of Representatives, so you need 100 members present. There are 64 Democrats. So when we broke quorum, there was not enough members present for them to bring the bill up. They were like, you know, 12 members short.
Mm-hmm.
And so it delayed them passing the bill. They passed it in the Senate, but in order to get it to Governor Abbott's desk for him to sign it, it has to pass the House. We denied them a quorum because we said that this is a racial gerrymander bill. We believe it disproportionately impacted African Americans and Hispanics based on the way that they drew it. And we broke quorum so that they couldn't pass it. Each special session lasts 30 days, but the governor has the ability to call another one, which he did. We knew that we couldn't stay out forever. So we wanted to slow it down, raise awareness, and get other states like California and New York and other states to do the same thing. California did. Governor Newsom and California adopted or proposed a map of 5 new Democrat seats, which would basically even out or level the playing field from Texas. So they have to go a step further. They have to pass it on a referendum. A constitutional amendment means that the voters have to decide. But the long a summary is they basically leveled the playing field. So we then came back to Texas. They passed the map. Now our lawyers have filed a lawsuit to challenge it in court based on violation of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Section 2, in that it was a racial gerrymander in violation of our constitutional right. So it's up to the courts now. But when you look at representation, if people don't have representation, then they don't have a voice. They don't have someone who's advocating for federal resources, for education, for SNAP benefits, for uh,
Healthcare.
healthcare. All those are federal resources that right. And so right now, based on this proposed map, we're going to have less representation than we did previously, which is wrong. We are very diverse. Our diversity is our strength. There are more African Americans in Texas than any other state in the country.
May I ask a question?
Sure, yeah, please.
So my question is this: if there are more of us,
Right.
why are they trying to represent us less?
That's a, that that begs the question because they I'll be very candid with you and very transparent. African Americans typically vote Democrat, right? And so what they're doing is trying to dilute our voting strength so that there's less Democratic representation in Congress. Therefore, they can stay in power. It's a power move, right? They're trying to stay in power by any means necessary. And if they have to racially gerrymander to do it, that's what they'll do. I mean, the way I've seen it is that
Stay in power means
stay in power, meaning that keep the majority.
and the keeping the majority means if they keep the majority, we what?
If they keep the majority, then they get a chance to decide the bills that pass. They get a chance to decide what resources are given out because the Congress controls the power of the purse. That means they have the appropriations power. If they have a majority, the majority wins.
But I see getting real
Okay, I
into
want to
the
be
into the thick of it.
okay,
Yeah, because
so okay, let's say you have 5 people in the room
yes,
and y'all want to decide if you go to Papados or you
Mhm.
want to go to McDonald's,
okay,
right? Well, if 3 of the 5 say we want to go to McDonald's, then that's where we're going
yes,
because majority rules.
yes,
Papados could be a much better restaurant, a much better pick that most people are like, well, why the heck would y'all go to McDonald's? Well, the majority picked it. That's
and
the
they're
way it
like, give
works.
them McDonald's. They don't need Papados.
There you go.
Okay.
So that's the way it works. The majority rules. The majority
Yeah.
gets to decide, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if you're like, are you crazy? You want to go to, I can see if you said Burger King over McDonald's, but you want to go to Papados over McDonald's? I don't understand. It doesn't matter. We chose. That's the way it works.
So shut up and take it.
The majority gets you can argue, you can debate, but when the votes come, the majority rules. That's the way it works. The only exception, and this is getting into the weeds, is if the president vetoes. The president can has the power like the governor does. We can pass a bill in the House and the Senate through majority, and then the governor can veto it. He did that. You may have heard about the THC bill.
Yes.
The governor has the power of veto. The president has the power of veto. Other than that, the majority rules.
So was the bill vetoed?
Which one?
The THC one.
The THC bill was vetoed.
So it was really about we don't want foreign products in versus
Well, it's complicated. There was a lot of controversy about it, but ultimately, I think the people with the THC they demonstrated that first of all, there were a lot of demand from veterans that
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we use this to get off of opioids
because it's killing us.
we use this for mental health and for coping, and it's not hasn't had adverse impacts
versus alcohol.
versus alcohol and other things. And so they were able to make a strong case that obviously appealed to Governor Abbott. In addition to that, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that has given a boost to the Texas economy. And there were a lot of small businesses that uh, would have been wiped out if the legislation had passed. So
How do we apply the same energy towards our districting and having a say?
so that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked. And I think this is a good conversation to talk about the power of the people. The people have to vote. The people have to exercise. The people meaning us,
Yes.
like regular people who are 18 years of age and older. They should be registered and they should vote. Every vote counts. And if people are engaged and they're making their voices heard, we would not have this racially gerrymandered redistricting. We would not have many of the bad laws that we have. But a lot of people they complain, but they don't vote. They don't show up to vote.
Well, they don't believe that their vote actually counts because there's been so much corruption and things in the news that has scared them, and maybe it was done on purpose.
That's right.
To scare them.
It is. I'm glad you said that because they do that on purpose, because that's another form of voter suppression, voter intimidation, is that you put information out there to confuse people so that they don't vote. So they say, well, what the heck? My vote don't count anyway. They're winning when they do that. They want people to believe that their vote doesn't count. They want people to believe that why should you go vote when it doesn't mean anything anyway? That's psychological, but it works, because if people fall for it, if enough people do and they sit at home, then they win.
I'm going to ask you a crazy question.
Please.
Do you believe in voting?
Absolutely. I believe voting is essential. When I think about my ancestors that literally marched, many of them fought and died for that precious fundamental right to vote. The Constitution, it didn't initially include women and people of color in voting. It included white property owners. It wasn't until the later, when we had the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment, and the 19th Amendment, that women and African Americans could actually vote. Then it wasn't until the Voting Rights Act was passed that ended Jim Crow, that had barriers for people of color from voting because of poll taxes and literacy tests that removed those barriers. So voting has come a long way in this country for minorities and women. And so I encourage every single American citizen to vote, because that is the way our democracy works. Your vote is your voice. Your vote is your ability to say, this is the person that will represent my interests when it comes to city council, for mayor, who then appoints the police chief, for district attorney, for sheriff, for state representatives, for constables, for congressmen, for judges. Every election matters, and it matters the most those local elections for school board, to decide what books are in our children's schools, the curriculum, who is the superintendent, who is over the principals. So everything you think of, school, education, roads, economics.
Yeah, I spoke with the commissioner the other day. He was like, "You got it. If you want to get around in Texas, you got to deal with me."
Yeah,
and I'm like, I did not know that.
Voter
education is important.
It's so crucial that we vote. You know, I'm so excited when young people are marching and protesting, but I say, if you don't vote, you didn't finish the job.
Oh, wow.
You can use your platform on social media and TikTok and make a reel and go viral, but if you don't go vote, then you really haven't even.
You're not the influencer you think.
Yeah, it's incomplete. Yeah. If young people are the catalyst for change, they can be the pivotal decision makers in these elections. But typically, young people, they don't vote. So we have to do a better job of voter engagement and voter information to tell people why it matters. And that's why I'm happy we're having this dialogue, because I want people to understand the power of their vote. Every person has an equal vote, no matter if you're rich, you're poor, you're black, you're white, you're male, you're female, you're gay, you're straight. Your vote is just as powerful as Elon Musk. He has one vote. He may have a lot of money, which could influence votes, but at the end of the day, he has one vote, just like me. So voting is the great equalizer. When people vote, they can beat money. They can beat influence if enough people believe in that particular candidate. And so that is why I want people to understand that their vote matters. That is why I want people to understand why they should vote. And I'll give you this, even here locally in Missouri City, there was an election that was decided by one vote. In Sugarland, there was an election that was decided for Sugarland City Council by one vote. Don't ever think that every vote doesn't count.
It does matter. And I ask that because I know that are are you elected as well
I am elected. I'm
by
elected
vote?
by voting.
So I know you believe in voting.
Absolutely.
Because
I
I
wouldn't
am
be here. I would not. Hey, listen, I'll tell you how much I believe in it. The first race I ran, I lost by half a point.
Really?
Yeah. And then I ran again against the same person, the incumbent, and I won. But
because somebody felt like that half a point mattered.
exactly. and so every vote counts. And I'm the first African American state representative in Fort Bend County since Reconstruction.
How long has that been?
That was back in 18.
Wait, what? Since Reconstruction and Reconstruction. Hold on, look at me, y'all. Reconstruction was in
1873. That was the period after slavery where they had, yeah.
So I feel like you somebody to celebrate.
Well,
I know. Wait, the humble part. I get it. I get it. I get you being humble, and I know you love the Lord.
I do.
I know how you are. But as a servant,
yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
I appreciate it.
And you holding it.
Well, but I thank the people who believed enough in me. That was 16 years ago.
Really? It's been 16 years?
I've been in office for 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I consider it a real blessing because I know I didn't get here by myself. I know I stand on the shoulders of those who came before me. And I know that but for the grace of God and the struggle and the sacrifice of others, there's no way I would be here. I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams.
They didn't even think about something like this.
There was a point in time where Fort Bend had whites only primaries, and that wasn't ended until like 1955. So this is recent history, and it wasn't until 1965 that the Voting Rights Act was passed. So in this lifetime, people have changed the trajectory of voting to equalize it, where we're removing barriers that prohibited people of color from exercising that precious fundamental right to vote. So yes, voting matters. Elections matter. At the local election for your mayor and city council, for your county commissioners, for your constables, for your school board members, for your state representatives, your state senators, yes, your Congress people, your United States senators, and your president.
It matters.
It matters.
So go vote.
Go vote.
If nothing else,
don't complain if you don't vote. I don't want to hear it. Just shut up.
Have
if
you
don't
voted?
Vote, if you don't vote, just save it. Just don't even complain. Just sit down and shut up.
Go vote and come talk to me.
Yeah, that part.
I got you.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna use that.
Go vote and then come talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am so happy to have you here. Like you say, we meet outside all the time in the community. We are a community involved station.
Y'all are. I appreciate you all.
I would like to ask you to do something that I ask everyone.
Sure.
I am going to ask you if you can give somebody a word of encouragement right now that could change their life, something that you've experienced. I don't want nothing fake.
Okay.
I don't want nothing just start up. I want something you've experienced and you can give them a word on something. I don't care if it was when you were 3 years old.
Sure.
What would you tell them?
What I would tell them is it was similar to what I just talked about. Don't quit. No matter the circumstance, no matter the situation, the only way that you will not succeed is if you quit. If I would have quit, I would never be state representative because when I lost the first time, many people that I thought were my friends, they abandoned me. They didn't believe in me. And they said I should never run again.
Oh, wow.
Because I was never going to win. And if I had that belief, then I wouldn't be here today. So my encouragement to other people is don't allow others to dictate your future. Believe in yourself, encourage yourself, do whatever it takes to succeed, work harder. When I lost the first time, I was committed that I was going to prove all my naysayers wrong. I worked extremely hard, made the sacrifices, and the rest is history. So if I could leave people with a word, is don't quit. Believe in yourself, set your goals, be determined. You will have adversity. You will have obstacles. You may not succeed the first time, or it may not even be the second or the third time, but don't quit. Eventually, if you work hard through prayer, faith, you will win.
I appreciate you saying those words to people because people are looking for hope.
They're looking for hope. Yeah.
And we are hope dealers over here.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you. I
We are
appreciate
hope
that.
dealers.
Yeah,
So
we
I
mean it.
always ask that question.
Thank
I
you.
thank you for your service.
No, thank you for having me. It's an honor, and I hope that I'll be able to come on again. I think it's so important that we have these conversations and break things down so that we can get through all the rhetoric where people don't understand all the jargon and have just real conversation. So I appreciated the real conversation and the questions that you asked because a lot of people probably wonder the same stuff.
Yeah, I'm like,
They just don't ask. They just like,
Yeah.
well, I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want people to know I don't know. The only ignorant question is a question that people don't ask.
Man,
Right. So thank you for having me, and I appreciate you and your station for being engaged in the community. It makes a difference, and we need more people like you in order to break through these barriers that exist and really encourage people to get out and vote.
what's coming up?
Well, we have a lot coming up. I mean, I'm about to get ready to um, go into the mode where we are helping people get ready for Thanksgiving with Thanksgiving food distributions, and then we go into the Christmas holidays where we do toys for tots and collect uh, things for families that are struggling. So we're always thinking of how we can give back, and it's not just about legislation. It's not just about what happens in Austin or Washington D.C., but what happens in our local Missouri City and Houston communities. There are a lot of families that are struggling. We know inflation hasn't went anywhere. We know the price of eggs haven't went down,
Mm.
and people are really hurting and trying to survive. So we do what we can to give back to make a difference, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas, those holidays where people really need that little extra help.
We have several businesses who are doing the same, and I wish that we can all
Yes.
kind of
We can
partner up.
collaborate. I'm always down for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got put that on the map.
Yeah.
That's something that we need to know about what you guys have going on. Who's on the roster in this upcoming?
So in this coming, there's a November election coming up for Missouri City mayor and Missouri City at large elections. There's two one position 1 and 2 at large and the mayor election. So those elections are happening in November in Fort Bend. Then there's a constitutional amendment that applies to everybody. There's 11 initiatives on the ballot for November at the same time. And then the Houston area, there's a special election for the congressional seat, District 18, that we talked about, and Houston City Council as well.
There should be two, but okay.
Right, exactly. That part.
Anyways.
Yes. Yes. So I hope that everyone that's in the areas and those areas will vote.
Well, make sure as the voting as time is coming that you come up here
Yes.
and spark with me
Okay.
because it's that
Absolutely.
time of year.
I will be happy to.
Okay.
Count me in.
Yes, cool. And I appreciate you for coming. If someone wanted to contact you, what would they contact you for?
So our office is there for a resource. When even if it's stuff we don't do, we always try to be a referral to get them to the right place. So feel free to contact my office of State Representative Ron Reynolds at 281 208 3574, 281 208 3574. Or they could go and look me up on social media. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere. We try to be accessible. And so, feel free to, look me up and inbox me or call my office, whatever way we can help you, we will.
Okay, and hopefully you can get us in with not councilman, Congressman Al Green,
Absolutely.
and get him up here
I
to
will.
tell what's going
I would
on that
definitely.
level.
I think he would be a great person to have. I just got back from DC yesterday, and I was with him. He's in. They're in Congress today voting. As some may know, keep up. There's a looming government shutdown if they don't pass a bill to keep funding the government. And if the government shuts down, then we're all going to be in trouble.
What does that mean?
That means that a lot of the services that people are accustomed to from the federal government, they won't be provided for.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So hopefully,
isn't that going to cause the biggest
it'll be horrible. Hopefully, it won't happen.
outbreak ever?
They are going to. We'll know by tomorrow.
What are the people going to do?
Well, I mean, elections matter. It's time out for all this partisan politics. This Democrats, Republicans, like at odds.
It needs to be the people.
Yeah, they should put the people's interest first and do what's best, and not be politicians. Be statesmen. Statesmen is different than politics. A statesman says what's best for the people. A politician says what's best for my political party for me to get reelected. There's a difference, right? And you can pick fights and be a politician. To be a statesman takes work. It takes compromise. It takes you being willing to give and bend and have conversations with people that you don't necessarily agree with. That's what the real work is. So we need more statesmen, and that's why elections matter.
I'm worried about that bill. This that's going on with, because this can cause
ripple
war.
Effect. It'll cause a big. It'll be horrible.
Civil war.
Hopefully, it doesn't happen. But it's going to come down to compromise. That's a bad word in DC. It's a good word, but they've made it a bad word.
It's a good word in marriage, but we're not talking about marriage.
I'm hopeful that these folks will do what's best for the American people and get a deal done to keep the government functioning so that people don't lose those resources.
Because what is America without the people? What are we doing here? We need you, people. Right, yes. You need us.
That's
people.
Right. That's right. We're hey, you said it best.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got things to do.
Thank you for having me.
I am so happy that you came.
I enjoyed it. It's a joy.
Ali Fire with the Fire Morning Show here at Mo City Radio with our representative Ron Reynolds. We thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.